I called to book a haircut yesterday. I have had this haircut for 6 years. I know the words haircut and appointment. I hung up mid-sentence.
You hung up on your own barber.
I panicked. He said, "What time works for you?" And my brain just closed, like a shop pulling down its metal shutter. Mid-conversation.
So somewhere out there, a barber is staring at a dead phone line, wondering what he said wrong.
He said nothing wrong. I did that entirely to myself.
Hi, I'm Anna.
And I'm Robert, apparently now banned from phone calls.
This is No Excuses English podcast, and today we're talking about the exact moment your English disappears, not because you don't know it, but because your nervous system stages a small coup.
That gap between I know this and I can't say this, we're closing it today.
By the end of this one, you'll have a real working system, not motivation, an actual system for what to do the next time your mouth stops cooperating.
Let's get into it. Okay, tell me exactly what happened, start to finish.
I dialed the number, and for maybe 2 seconds, I felt totally fine, confident even. And then he picked up and said, "Hey, thanks for calling. What can I do for you?"
Normal opening.
Completely normal. And somewhere between "hey" and "what can I do for you," my brain decided this was a test I was going to fail, and it just left. I said, "Hi, sorry, wrong number," and hung up on my actual barber, whose number is saved in my phone as Marco Haircut Guy.
Marco now thinks a stranger keeps calling him.
Marco thinks nothing because I panicked before saying anything useful. That's the part that bothers me most, honestly. I know how to book an appointment. I've done it in English 100 times. This wasn't a knowledge problem.
That's exactly it. And that's today's whole episode in one sentence. It usually isn't a knowledge problem.
Then what is it?
It's a switching problem. The words are sitting right there in your head, but somewhere between thinking it and saying it out loud to a real person, a switch doesn't flip.
So what flips it?
That's what we're building today.
So here's what you're getting. Not just relax, because if that worked, this episode wouldn't need to exist.
Right. Relax has never once helped anyone relax.
5 specific things you can actually do, starting today, the next time you feel that shutter starting to close.
And a couple of genuine surprises about why this happens in the first place, because once you understand the mechanism, it's a lot less scary. So let's start with what actually went wrong on that call. What were you trying to say?
In my head, something like, "Hi, I'd like to schedule a haircut for sometime this week if you have any availability."
That's a lot of sentence for a phone call to your own barber.
It felt necessary in the moment.
It's not, though. You needed maybe 5 words. Hi, can I get a haircut?
That feels almost rude, that short.
It's not rude, it's efficient. Marco isn't grading your sentence structure. He's a person who cuts hair, trying to figure out when to pencil you in.
So the fancy version was actually working against me?
Completely against you. The longer and more correct you try to make a sentence in your head before saying it, the more places it has to break down along the way. Short sentences have fewer places to fail.
Fewer moving parts.
Exactly. A 5-word sentence either comes out or it doesn't. A 20-word sentence can collapse in 6 different spots.
I built myself an obstacle course and then panicked in the middle of it.
A little bit, yeah. And here's the strange part. You already knew this instinctively in other situations. You don't ask a stranger for directions with a 12-word introduction. You just say, "Excuse me, where's the station?"
That's true. I don't overthink that one at all.
Because somehow that one feels low stakes, and the phone call felt high stakes. Even though objectively, a haircut appointment is about as low stakes as conversations get.
So the stakes were never real. I just decided they were?
Your brain decided for you, actually, before you got a vote.
Okay, but even 5 words requires building something on the spot. What if the building itself is the problem?
Good question. And this is where block 2 comes in. Some sentences you shouldn't have to build at all. You should already have them, finished, sitting in your pocket.
Like what?
Think of them less like sentences and more like keys you carry on a key ring. Could you repeat that, please? Sorry, one moment. Can I get back to you on that? You're not constructing these in real time. You already made them weeks ago, calmly. And now you just reach for one.
So the panic version of me on that call had 0 keys on the ring?
0. You were trying to forge a brand new key while Marco was standing there waiting.
That's a genuinely stressful way to describe what happened to me yesterday.
Accurate, though. If, sorry, could you repeat that, had just been sitting there pre-made, you wouldn't have needed to build anything under pressure. You'd have grabbed it and bought yourself 3 more seconds to think.
How many of these keys do I actually need?
5 is plenty to start. Genuinely 5. Write them down tonight, say them out loud a few times this week, and they stop being sentences you're translating and start being sentences you just have.
Does it matter which 5?
Pick the ones for situations you actually run into. If you never travel, "Where's my luggage?" isn't a useful key for you. If you take phone calls constantly, "Can I call you back in 5 minutes?" might be the single most valuable key on the ring.
So it's personal, not a generic list from a textbook.
Deeply personal, actually. Your key ring should match your actual doors. Quick pause, small favor. If any part of this is describing your last awkward phone call, don't be an English hoarder. Send it to the one friend who also hangs up on people.
Subscribe if this is your first time here. We do this every week. Real conversation, real English.
Comment your most recent "I panicked and hung up" story. We collect these like trading cards at this point.
Here's something I actually do, and I've never told anyone this.
Go on.
Sometimes, driving alone, I narrate what I'm doing out loud. I'm turning left here. This traffic is unbelievable. I really need coffee. Just commentary to an empty car.
That's not embarrassing. That's actually exactly what today's third idea is about.
It felt a little embarrassing to admit.
It shouldn't. Talking to nobody is the safest possible place to fail. There's no Marco on the other end waiting for an answer. There's no shutter to close because there's no audience to close it in front of.
So the empty car is basically training.
It's real training. Musicians don't only perform in front of audiences. Most of the actual improvement happens alone in a room, playing the same 4 bars badly over and over until they're not bad anymore.
So my car is a practice room.
Your car is a practice room. Cooking dinner is a practice room. Folding laundry is a practice room. Anywhere you're alone and nobody's timing your response.
What do I even say, though? I'm folding a sock feels like a strange sentence to say out loud on purpose.
It's stranger in theory than in practice. Describe what your hands are doing, what you're looking at, what you're annoyed about. The content barely matters. What matters is your mouth practicing the physical act of turning a thought into English, with 0 stakes attached.
I think that's actually why the car narration helps. I'm not thinking about being right. I'm just talking.
That's the entire mechanism in one sentence.
How long before it actually changes anything, though? I don't want to narrate my sock folding for a year and see 0 results.
It's faster than people expect. A couple of weeks of even 5 minutes a day, and the gap between thinking and speaking starts shrinking. You're wearing a smoother path between the words you already have and your mouth.
A smoother path. I like that.
Right now, there's a rocky trail between your brain and your mouth, full of roots and stones called self-consciousness. Rehearsing alone slowly clears that trail out, one boring sentence at a time.
Okay, here's my actual confession though. Even when I do get words out, I'm still bracing for a grammar mistake the whole time.
Tell me what that bracing feels like.
Like I'm driving with the brake half pressed. I'm moving, but I'm also constantly ready to stop myself mid-sentence if something sounds wrong.
That's a really good way to describe it. And here's the thing, nobody on the other end of that conversation is checking your verb tenses. Marco does not care if you said, I want book a haircut, instead of, I'd like to book a haircut.
He just wants to know when to write my name down.
That's the entire transaction. Understanding, not correctness. If Marco understood you, the sentence worked, regardless of what grammar rule got bent along the way.
But it feels like grammar is the whole point of speaking a language correctly.
It's the point of a grammar exercise in a textbook. It is not the point of a phone call to your barber. Different goals need different standards.
So what should I actually ask myself in the moment?
Not, was that correct? Ask, did that land? If it landed, keep going. Fix the grammar later, alone, in your practice room, if you even care to.
Did that land? I like that question a lot more than the one I've been asking myself.
It also changes what success looks like. Under the old question, success means 0 mistakes, which is an impossibly high bar for a live, unscripted conversation in any language, including your first one.
I definitely make mistakes in my own language constantly.
Everyone does. Under the new question, success just means the other person got the point. That bar is actually reachable most of the time, even on a bad day.
Can I tell you something a little more personal?
Always.
When I first moved here, I had a phone interview for a job I really wanted. And halfway through, the interviewer asked a question I didn't fully understand, and instead of asking her to repeat it,
What did you do?
I just answered a completely different question. Confidently, like nothing was wrong. I could hear in her voice she was confused, and I just kept going, digging deeper into an answer that had nothing to do with what she'd asked.
I've never heard this story.
I don't usually tell it, because it still makes my stomach drop a little. I didn't get that job. And for a long time, I told myself the story was my English wasn't good enough. But that's not actually what happened.
What actually happened?
I was too afraid to say 5 simple words. Sorry, could you repeat that? That's it. That sentence would have saved the entire interview, and I had it somewhere in my head. And I let embarrassment talk me out of using it.
That's a hard thing to carry for years, as my English wasn't good enough, when it was actually just fear wearing English's clothes.
That's precisely what it was. I built you an entire episode about this because I don't want anyone else quietly blaming their vocabulary for something fear did.
I'm really glad you're telling this now instead of still carrying it alone.
Me too, honestly. Every time I tell it, it loses some of its weight.
So if I'd had my 5 keys on that call,
You'd have grabbed, sorry, could you say that again? Instead of hanging up.
and if I'd been narrating my drives for months already,
Your mouth would have had thousands of low-stakes reps behind it before Marco ever picked up the phone.
and if I'd been chasing, did that land instead of, was that correct?
You might have just said the 5 words and let the call happen imperfectly instead of ending it perfectly silent.
Imperfect and finished beats perfect and abandoned.
Write that one down, honestly. There's one more piece, and it's the one people skip, which is a shame because it's the one that actually keeps you going long term.
What's that?
Keeping track of what actually went right. Not in a vague, I'm improving way. Specifically, in writing.
Like a list?
A small one, 2 lines a day maybe. Ordered food without pointing at the menu. Understood a joke on the first try. Things that feel too small to count.
They feel small because we're trained to notice mistakes, not wins.
Exactly that. Your brain is very good at replaying the haircut call on a loop. It is much worse, by default, at replaying the 10 conversations that went completely fine that same week.
So the list corrects the bias.
It forces your brain to look at evidence it would otherwise skip right past. A month of that list is hard to argue with.
I might actually start one tonight. Line 1, told my co-host an embarrassing story about hanging up on my barber.
That counts. That completely counts. All right, let's collect today's vocabulary, our usual 3 levels.
Basic first. Word 1. Nervous.
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 Feeling worried or afraid before or during something. I felt nervous the second he picked up.
Word 2. Repeat.
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 To say something again. Could you repeat that, please?
Now intermediate. Word 3. Hesitate.
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 Feeling worried or afraid. To pause before doing or saying something because you're unsure. He hesitated before answering.
Word 4. Rehearse.
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 To practice something before doing it for real. I rehearse conversations alone in the car.
Advanced now. Word 5. Articulate.
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 To express something clearly in words. It took me a while to articulate what I actually meant.
And our final word, composure.
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 A calm, controlled state, especially under pressure. She kept her composure through the whole interview.
6 words. Nervous, repeat, hesitate, rehearse, articulate, composure.
Let's fix a few sentences people say to themselves in these moments.
First one, my English isn't good enough.
Try instead. I got nervous, and nerves aren't a vocabulary problem.
Next, I should have said that perfectly.
Try, I said something, and something usually beats silence.
Next, I always freeze up.
Try, I froze this time. That's a moment, not a pattern.
And last one, I'm too embarrassed to ask them to repeat it.
Try, asking once is faster than guessing wrong for the next 5 minutes.
That one's going straight into my keyring.
Let's test the vocabulary. Fill in the blank.
I always, before answering the phone in English, even though I know exactly what to say. Hesitate. Nice work if you caught that.
One more.
Talking to yourself in the car is actually a great way to rehearse. You're building real range with this one.
So, did I call Marco back?
Tell him.
I did. Said 5 words. Hi, can I get a haircut? Booked for Thursday. Entire call took 11 seconds.
11 seconds. That's the whole episode right there.
If you've got your own I hung up on someone completely reasonable story, we want it in the comments.
We read every single one, and we will absolutely laugh with you, not at you.
Subscribe if this helped. New episodes every week. Real English, no excuses. Apparently including phone calls to barbers.
Thanks for being here today.
See you in the next one.